Hey everyone, I'm Melanie from Streamline Legal, where we help law firms get the most out of their practice management software. Tonight we're looking specifically at practice areas in Clio. So let's hop on over to the screen and let's figure out how we can clean those up. So when I'm looking at my Clio screen, if I hop over to Settings on the left-hand menu, and I go to Firm Preferences on the right-hand side, that's where I can find my matter numbering and practice areas. Now keep in mind you do have to have administrator privileges to be able to see this, so if you don't, that's probably why. So if we hop into, doing a lot of hopping tonight, if we hop into our practice areas, you can see that they're all listed here. And keep in mind that Clio comes with about 8 to 12 default practice areas, right? Some of which you may never use or need, some of which you may. So keep in mind though that these can be customized, right? So I can delete the ones I'm not using, I can add new ones over here, which is great. And I can really customize it to my practice and what I want to track and see in my different practice areas for my cases. And so on occasion though, what we see happen a lot is people will, it's a Clio account they've had for years, or, an old paralegal did something or an old assistant did something. They're no longer there. We're not sure what they were trying to do. A lot of things can happen where these practice areas just frankly become a bit of a mess. And so a lot of times we'll find some, like, for example, wills. I've never done a will in my life, and so I don't need a practice area called wills. So I can go ahead and just simply click on delete, and it says, are you sure you want to delete it? And I say, okay. Now you'll see though that there's plenty of these that don't have that option. And so the question becomes, why don't these have a delete? Corporate has a delete, but criminal doesn't, right? Why do some of them have a delete option and some of them don't? The answer is very simple. If it does not allow you to delete it, that means there is a matter somewhere in your Clio account that has that practice area. Now, it could be a closed matter, it could be a very old matter, but somewhere in your Clio account, there's a matter with that practice area. So this is how we find it. We come on over to matters on the left-hand side. We say all matters, whether they're closed or pending or open, doesn't matter. We're going to say all matters. And instead of filtering and searching through every practice area, that would take a long time probably, I'm going to go ahead and just say export. I'm going to export to a CSV, all the available columns, and I'm going to say export. Now, depending on how many matters you have in your Clio account, this could take a while, or it may take a few seconds like this one. And what we see when we hop on over to our matters list, I've gone ahead and sorted them by practice area, you'll see right here. And I know it's a little bit small on your screens, but it's sorted by the practice area. So now I can very quickly go through and see, okay, yeah, we've got some administrative, we got some bankruptcy, some builder's liens, some civil litigation, some commercials, some conveyances. So we have a bunch of different practice areas, but now we can compare that list to our Clio list of practice areas as well. And here's what happens is once I change all those matters to not have that practice area anymore, then I'll have the option to be able to delete it. So for example, I don't have any corporate matters, so I can go ahead and delete that one, right? So here becomes the question, is it easier to go through and change all of the matters that may have had that practice area in the past? Or do we just simply, a lot of firms, they'll simply like rename it don't use or something like that and just let it not be used anymore. The problem is that if I changed what it's called, it changes all of the matters that had that in the past. So my advice is if it's only a handful, let's go back and edit the ones that shouldn't be there, correct them, and then update our matter list so that it's appropriate and it's accurate. However, if we're talking a large volume of closed cases in the past, I probably don't want to mess with that data. I would probably leave it alone. I might do something like put an X and, edit the name to put an X in front of it. So those all fall to the bottom of the list because, by the way, these are alphabetical. So you'll see down here I have business. Well, I don't do business anymore. So I edited the name and put an X in it so that it will show up at the bottom. So now at least they're not in the way. I don't have to look at them all the time, but I don't have to go back and change that historical data either. So I hope this was helpful for you. Take a look at your practice areas, see which ones you can delete if you're not using them, see which ones you might want to add, and then also export your matters and find out how many of them are you actually using. Do you need them for the future? Are they just things that are stuck in the past? If you do that analysis, it'll really help you clean up your matters in Clio. The cleaner your matters are in Clio, the more you can utilize things like practice area when you're trying to do bulk billing or when you're trying to get data out of Clio. Now your data is going to be that much more accurate. So thanks so much for joining me tonight. I really enjoyed being able to walk through matters with you. I'll hop in anytime you have questions, so just let me know. Have a great evening, everyone. Thanks so much.